We continue throughout the day. So again, brace yourselves. Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Boston, and New York City, you will definitely see some very stormy conditions.
The first hurricane in the Atlantic continues to churn its way westward. Hello, I'm Melissa Barrington. We're going to join hurricane expert John Hope with the latest on Hurricane Alberto.
Well, thank you, Melissa, and good morning, everyone. Even though Alberto continues to move just about straight west at this hour, we still think that we're going to see a movement to the north of due west, and we think very likely it's going to pass north of the island. That's the our best estimate we can make right now, and we think it may do that by even a substantial amount after all is said and done. At 11 o'clock, it was centered at 16.3 and 41.7, and that is, as you can see here, 1,300 miles to the east of the Leeward Islands. That would be about to the east of Antigua and down toward Guadeloupe, about 1,300 miles east there, moving straight toward the west. But again, we believe it is going to turn. Now, it's a very interesting hurricane. It's a very tiny one, actually, and we have, though, a well-defined center of circulation in there, which is certainly maintaining itself as time goes by. And while we have this up, we wanted to show you that we have a couple other little disturbances that we're looking at right here, for example, east of the Florida coast, and another one to the north of Puerto Rico. But as we zoom in on it a little bit, we can see that this circulation center certainly remains very, very well defined indeed, and we expect it to at least maintain itself. We don't expect to see very much change in strength. What we do believe we might see is some fluctuation over the next few days, maybe come up a little bit or down a little bit. It is getting over water that's really warm enough. The center of the circulation is right about in here now, maybe just a tad below our threshold value of 80 degrees Fahrenheit, but as it goes toward the west, it's certainly going to be in water, even toward the northwest, warmer than 80 degrees. So sea surface temperatures are not going to be any problem for it at all. Also, a tropical wave we wanted to point out that extends here from way up here north of Puerto Rico down into the Caribbean. Here's the southern part of it. That doesn't appear to be getting any better organized as time goes by. Now, in the Gulf of Mexico is where our interest is going to be focused here for the next couple of days. We have this tropical wave now moving across the Yucatan Peninsula. That won't develop there because half or most of it's over land, but it may in a day or two have a chance to develop in the Gulf of Mexico, perhaps down here in the Bay of Campeche. We'll watch that. We have plenty of time, nothing right away to worry about. Now, Tropical Storm Gilma is out here in the Pacific, and it continues to move away from land. It is almost a hurricane. We think very likely it's going to be a hurricane as time goes by. Here it is, a very well-defined circulation now, moving off toward the west. And before we finish, we want to assure the people out on Okinawa that not too bad there so far. The highest winds we've seen is 60 miles an hour. You have this very large eye in the hurricane, over 50 miles. This is Gilawatt, and moving away. It's moving very slowly though, so the rain is going to persist, but so far the wind hasn't been bad since the center of the hurricane is going north of Okinawa. That's it for this time. Now let's get back to Melissa.
As we look across the lower 48 states, right now we do have some clusters here of lightning, especially around just to the south of the St. Louis area. Later on today, though, numerous locations will be seeing the potential here for some strong storms, including the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, western Iowa, and the Dakotas. 3 different systems here that could be producing the severe weather, but we could be seeing some gusty winds here along I-80 and also along I-90. I-70 could be affected later on this afternoon, as well as I-95. Major cities will be impacted by the thunderstorms, especially during the evening rush hour. Philadelphia, New York City, and Washington, D.C. and the Baltimore area. So be sure to stay tuned to the Weather Channel throughout the day for the latest on your location.
Ow! I feel good. I knew that I would. I feel good. I knew that I would.
Senecot Children's Laxative Syrup is so chocolatey delicious, you can give it alone, in milk, or over ice cream. Getting your kids to feel better has never been easier. Senecot Children's Laxative Syrup. It's the most...
Your forecast. Expect a chance of thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Friday, expect a chance of rain.
Thanks for joining us for Storm Watch. I'm Christina Abernathy. We'll take a look at some severe weather through the plains of the mid-Mississippi Valley coming up in just a moment. But first, it's time for our tropical update with Dr. Steve Lyons.
Well, thanks, Christine. And we have quite a bit of activity out in the Atlantic tonight. We have, of course, one Hurricane Alberto that's not bothering anybody, but we have 3 other cloud clusters that are rather suspicious tonight. I've circled them on our large-scale satellite image. This one right here is Alberto, Hurricane Alberto. And right now, we think our best estimate is it's going to clear the islands and move off to the northwest. But you still need to monitor this, because if it doesn't do that, you could have yourself in some big problems. There's another cloud cluster associated with an upper-level low to the west of it and a tropical wave at the surface that's really starting to get going with shower activity. And we've seen winds of 35 knots, that's about 40 miles per hour, from ships and seas of about 15 feet in here. And that's heading in the general direction of the southern Bahamas and the southeast U.S., so we need to monitor this. This third one is a very vigorous tropical wave, and it's most vigorous above the surface, but is right now over the Yucatan Peninsula. But tomorrow it's going to spread into the Gulf of Mexico, and at the least we're going to see some showers in northern Mexico and along the Texas coast. And of course, you know you need the showers in Texas, so that could be a welcome relief if there's no tropical development. Well, here's Hurricane Alberto as of 5 p.m. Wind still 90 miles per hour, moving west. But that westward motion we expect to turn more toward the west-northwest and then northwest and clear the islands. And of course the magic number for that is about 20 degrees north. Right now it's at about 16.5 degrees north to be exact. Now here's a look at it, and you can see this big plume of high cloud blowing off to the north. That's the trough to the west that's pushing all that cloud to the north, and we hope we'll turn that system to the north as well. Right now it's not looking like it's intensifying any, and you can see that trough digging in right there. Now you can see this other upper level trough over in here with a ridge over the top of this shower activity right north of Puerto Rico, and that's that other area of concern. The little shower area just to the west of the coast of the United States doesn't show up on this water vapor imagery very well at all, but that's this feature right here. You can see it's starting to get dark out here, but this is the area we're most concerned about right now for possible development in the next day or two. And the hurricane hunters are going to go out tomorrow into this system and maybe divert down there. We'll have to see what happens, but this one's closer to the coast, so they'll look and see what's in there tomorrow morning. Now, Gulf of Mexico, here's that tropical wave over land, and it's going to push off into the Bay of Campeche tomorrow. Here's some showers that are going to come up into the South Texas coastline tomorrow ahead of it as well, so we'll monitor this carefully as well. But right now, it's over land. We don't have to worry. Now, in the eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Gilma, and it's just under hurricane force. It's 70 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 9. That's great news. It's moving away from the coast, but this is going to bring some wave action up into Southern California surfers. There's already about 6 to 10 foot surf we expect on the southern Baja California Peninsula over the next several days. And here's a look at it right here. Not showing wonderful development signs, but still there's some pretty good winds in here that are going to generate waves moving to the north. Well, that's it for the tropics. Let's get back to Christina in the studio.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Lyons. Well, we are seeing some stormy weather out there, as I mentioned a moment ago. A number of severe thunderstorm watches in effect, the Dakotas, Kansas into Missouri, and some of these storms have been quite rough, and we're continuing to see severe weather. We've had golf ball size hail with some of these storms moving into parts of Bates County in western Missouri. We have also had some very strong winds and large hail with storms moving through northern Missouri. So a rough situation for you here, and of course we'll continue to watch the potential for severe storms to develop here in the Dakotas, and we'll have more on all of that coming up next on Weather Center.
Do you suffer from low back or hip pain morning after morning? Medical experts agree a pillow between your legs could be the best solution. But what a hassle. Too big, goes flat. Introducing the Contour Leg Pillow to give you relief without the hassle. Look, no leg support can put strain on the hips, knees, and pushes your lower back out of alignment. But the Contour Leg Pillow comfortably supports, restoring natural alignment. Relax back muscles, relieve strain on hips, knees, and joints. The curve fits your leg so it comfortably stays with you all night. Call now to get lower back, hip, and knee comfort with the Contour Leg Pillow. Now,
Expect a chance of thunderstorms on Wednesday and Thursday, and on Friday, expect a chance of rain.
It's 10 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. At this hour, Minneapolis, severe thunderstorms are overhead. These thunderstorms are in the metro area of the Twin Cities. Please do seek shelter. These thunderstorms do have a severe history. They are traveling to the east-northeast between 15 and 25 miles per hour. A new watch is now in effect for parts of Iowa. We will show that to you graphically coming up at the top of the hour, but it's time now for your tropical weather update. I'm Lisa Moser. This is Hurricane Alberto. Now, Hurricane Alberto through the day today has been keeping that sustained wind at about 85 miles per hour. This is the very latest information coming out just moments ago on Hurricane Alberto. Moving to the west now at 13 miles per hour, but I do want to remind everyone that we have seen Alberto take more of a northerly turn, and you can really see this looking towards the back side here. You see that trailing cloud cover pointing up that way a little bit? That's actually a pretty good sign, because as we look out towards the Caribbean and the projection of the track that Alberto is likely to continue to take, you'll notice that even the most northern island is almost parallel to the current position. So that's a good note, and we will continue to watch this situation. It's getting quite active, pretty interesting out here in the Caribbean. We're looking at a wave just to the north of the Haiti Islands, and you can see that there's some very good cloud tops reaching pretty high in the sky. So we could see some development here. So far, very unorganized, just an area of lower pressure. This wave is tracking to the east, and we will continue to monitor it. Now, speaking of interesting features, look at this wave that's currently pushing across from the Yucatan Peninsula. Keep in mind that the water temperatures out here in the extreme southern part of the Gulf of Mexico, very, very warm. And this is a very favorite area for possible development, So that means it's possible, right? Well, we are seeing a lot of the tropical moisture push in across the coastal areas of Texas. So over the next couple of days, we will keep a very close eye on this wave. Well, with that being said, let's go over out towards the coastal areas of Mexico. If you've been planning a vacation out here, we continue to watch Gilma. Now, Gilma is moving away from the land areas, but I do want to give you the latest information. Still traveling to the west at 8 miles per hour. Just barely a hurricane. We are just a strong thunderstorm, but occasionally seeing hurricane gust, I guess I should say, 70 miles per hour. So a strong tropical storm with some gusts as strong as a minimal hurricane. Okay, yeah, that's better. What a busy time we have had. But if you think you're having a rough week because of the thunderstorms around Kansas City or St. Louis, imagine what it must be like on one of the most southern Japanese islands. Here in the southern part of Japan, we are looking at this typhoon continue to track so very slowly to the west and right overhead now over Iwo and the southern islands of Japan. Lots of heavy rain, damaging wind. It's a big problem. This is going to be a very long couple of days for them, as this thunderstorm, even once they get on the back side of it, will continue to have some very heavy rain and again damaging wind, high surge. Very, very messy. We hope that everyone is safe and bunkered down in Japan. Taking a look back home now, a couple of features to point out. We're looking at a small area of convection, several of them. We call them mesoscales because of their small proximity, but a lot of damage can be done in that relatively small area. That's been the case from St. Louis to Kansas City. We've had very heavy rainfall, damaging wind, lots of wind damage being reported from St. Louis all the way over to Kansas City. In Kansas City right now under an urban advisory for flooding. Yeah, a rough go along I-70. If you don't have to travel in this area, let's not do so tonight. Along this frontal boundary, we have another area of convection. This area associated with some thunderstorms, damaging wind, possibly even tornadic thunderstorms. They are right over St. Louis at this hour, the Twin Cities. St. Louis and St. Paul under the gun with these thunderstorms. Some large hail is possible. So far, we've had reports of dime-size hail out of southern Minnesota with these thunderstorms. Martin County, we've been looking at some reports coming out of your area with the winds gusting around 60 miles per hour and dime-size hail. We have two areas of concern, two watch areas, so stay with us. The very latest back home next on Weather Center.
Hungry for seafood? When your hunger strikes, there's only one thing to do. Head to Red Lobster for lobster and shrimp. Sweet, succulent lobster together with mouth-watering shrimp. Just $12.99 right now at Red Lobster. So hurry in and get it before it's gone.
Back to school's the perfect time to get AOL.
It's the ultimate school supply.
It's like a library in my kitchen here.
And on AOL, you can do